Logan King here, 530 Crew Off-Road. I am driving from Indianapolis to Cincinnati, Ohio today to hopefully buy me a new truck. Found a Chevy 2500 HD for sale. It's a 2013. Going from a Duramax to a 6.0 liter. Sean drives a 5.7 Hemi Dodge, and it pulled the two buggies to West Virginia. Amazing. The only downside, it got like 7 miles to a gallon, whereas in my Duramax I used to get 16. So that's the biggest drawback of getting a gas motor, is I'm going to get like 0 miles to the gallon. But the grand scheme of things, right now everybody knows the truck market's super high. It's insane. What ended up happening is on Thursday, actually on Wednesday, heading home after picking up the trailer at Dad's shop, I tried turning around into a parking lot to go get some fuel on the other side of the road. Well, I was sitting there on 10th Street, and I tried making a left-hand turn, and I was sitting there for like a few minutes, and cars were just coming, oncoming traffic was coming. Well, I waited for a gap to be able to turn left, and there was about a 50-meter gap, and I tried kind of creeping up a little bit, hoping people would notice me and kind of slow down or stop and let me go. Well, everybody's in a rush. No one cares about anybody anymore, and I saw this gap, so I started to go, and I turned and looked. There's enough gap, but I was expecting the guy to slow down or stop or see me or something. Well, he just kept going 40, 50 miles an hour. Didn't see me till about 10 feet from my truck, slammed on his brakes, and then plowed into the side of my truck. And as soon as it happened, I shook my head. I'm like, I cannot believe I cannot believe that you did not see me. And I was just so angry at myself for turning. I was angry at him for not seeing me. Long story short, insurance put me at fault because I turned onto oncoming traffic. It is what it is. I'm really irritated at myself for turning. I'm really irritated at the guy for not seeing me. Regardless, it is what it is. Try to be halfway decent spirited about it. I've actually been looking at trucks for a few months now, just haven't had the motivation to buy one until God decided it was time now. I believe everything happens for a reason, and this is God's way of telling me that it's time to move on from this truck. It was a 2002 GMC Sierra 2500 HD. It was a 6.6 liter Duramax. It was an awesome truck. It was built, tuned, deleted, a long bed crew cab. I mean, it was awesome. I fell in love with the truck. Originally was hesitant on buying it, but it just drove so good. And every time I went to go look at a new truck, I ended up just leaving with my own because I liked it so much. The only reason I was looking for new trucks was because it was getting up in miles. I had 232,000 miles, and a few parts were starting to break here and there, and it was starting to become a maintenance vehicle. So God decided it was time that He laid it to rest. So here's a picture of the damage to it. Pretty bummed about, but I was excited to start looking for new trucks, except for this truck market right now is crazy expensive. So I found one on Friday, and I've been keeping my eyes on it. Haven't been able to get a hold of the dealership, but on Monday morning, they open at 10 in Cincinnati, and I called them like every hour or every half hour from 8:30 to 10, hoping that someone would pay in early. But they ended up answering their phone at 10 o'clock on the dot. They said they still had this truck available, and I'm like, well, tell me a little bit about it. Be honest with me, I used to work at a body shop. I've owned a lot of trucks. I just want to know the down and dirty with it. I feel like it's a reasonable priced truck, and up here there's nothing near the price range of it. So Like, what's wrong with it? The plan is to drive the O2 Jetta there and hopefully drive the truck home. I'm going to see if they can offer me something for this car. I've been trying to get rid of this car too. It's a 2002 Jetta, 124,000 miles. It's a manual, it's a VR6 model. I have had my fair share of problems with all of my vehicles. But I will say, the reason I want to stick with Chevy, and my family isn't too happy about that. They're a big Ford family, but the GMC Duramax that I had, my brother bought at auction. He actually bought it for an ex-girlfriend of his, so he still had it, and I needed a truck at the time. Well, I ended up buying it off of him, and I barely had any problems with it until just the thought of it having higher mileage. I want one for a while that has it's like the 2015 and newer Chevy trucks with the full center console, like the LTZ models. Those are really nice. I like them. They're kind of hard to come by. But then I started looking, and on our way home from West Virginia, I saw a Chevy 2500 HD 6.0, and at the gas station on our way home, and I'm like, dang, Sean, that is a nice truck. Like, what is that? He goes, that's just a 2500. I'm like, I feel like I haven't really seen those. Like, it's a newer body style than mine. Like, you don't really see those. Well, correct. When I was looking for about a 25 to 50 meter radius from my home, and there was like none available in my price range, because I was wanting to stay just under 30 if I could. And I found one in Cincinnati, Ohio. They're asking $23,900, so basically $24,000 for it. I called them, and they said no one's looked at it yet, so I told them that I'm going to head straight there tomorrow, and I'll be at their doorstep at 10 a.m. when they open. It's got 118,000 miles. It's a 6.0 liter, so it won't get that good of gas mileage, but I am excited to get back into a long bed crew cab. The reason I want to stick with the long bed crew cab is my wife, when we were driving her Duramax everywhere, she would say any vehicle or any truck that was under an 8-foot bed, she would call a baby truck. And I thought it was kind of funny, because there's been some times where I've parked by or drove by some really high lifted like Cummins or Duramaxes or Power Strokes, and I'm like, dang, that's a nice truck, and it'd have a 6.5-foot bed on it, and she'd be like, oh, that's a baby truck. I'm like, babe, that truck could drive on top of me. And she goes, nope, you can do it, babe. She's just real supportive, real funny, tells everybody it's a baby truck, but I wanted to please her, and you know what they say, happy wife, happy life. We'll see what the truck looks like. Just pulled in to the Cincinnati Auto Group, and there she is. Man, she looks pretty. Nice bumper, nice lights. Don't see any dents in it. A little bit of rust here. They had a cover on it, looks like. Man, this thing is nice. I like this. Well, just a quick little video because I'm already late for work. Thanks, Sean, for covering. But ended up buying it. Here she is. Had to get a U-Haul, bring the car. They didn't want to offer me what I wanted. So, 8-foot bed. Alright, I'll talk more once I get on the road. Alright, well, I bought her 2013 Silverado 6.0 2500 HD. Got a long bed. Looks like it needs Z-Martin in there. We need to get a bed liner in it. But she got 118,000 miles. Paid $24,000 for. Honestly, in the truck market right this second, that is a steal. So I feel like I got a hell of a price. It's a long bed, crew cab, so it's got plenty of room back here. And they already have a new radio, and they have subs under the seat, so that's a good thing. It's already wired up. I had all that in my old truck, so it's nice that all the wiring's done. I do need to replace these speakers though, because these speakers are garbage, and I think they're still stock. So I'll replace these speakers, and this baby will sound great. Driving old Indiana roads, 74 back to Indianapolis, then gotta go to work. Thanks everyone for watching. Back in 2500 again, so I'm happy to stick with the Chevy. They've done me good. Alright, so I wanted to come out here from work and check to see the lights on this thing, as far as like interior lights, check to see if any bulbs are burnt out, check the cab lights. I went to go shut it off and walk back into work, and I noticed I saw some light back there. I'm like, well, maybe that's from the cube lights that I have that are hooked up to my reverse lights. So I'm like, that's pretty weird that it's shining my way. Well, then I saw this. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? And then I noticed there's wheel well lights on this thing, and they're hooked up to the actual headlights. So you see, like, and honest to God, I was just thinking, I'm like, how cool would it be to put white wheel well lights on this thing? And I shut it off to go inside, and I saw that. Like, that is just mind blowing. This truck is just made for me. Like, everything about this thing is just screaming like Logan. It's screaming like everything just happened for a reason. Like, I feel like God has just put this here to be like, Logan, everything's gonna be okay. It's weird. It's a weird feeling, but I just know that God's looking after me right now, from totaling my truck to providing this thing. I want to stay under $28,000. I'm definitely under that in this. Like, it is sweet. I love it. Keep finding more and more things awesome with this truck, and the fact that things are done right to this. Like, the lights are wired up correctly. It's not on a random toggle switch. The reverse lights are ran correctly. They come on when the reverse lights do. As far as like the cube lights go, like, they did a good job with this. And the radio is installed like really good. Like, there's not like gaps or anything on this thing. The subs are like in a good sub mount box. Like, I'm just like, look, it's in a good custom mount sub box. Like, I am just genuinely impressed with this truck on how someone took this good quality care of this thing to do stuff the right way. I was so scared I was going to get into a vehicle that was just hacked together, things wrong with the body panel. Like, this is a straight truck. The only rust on is some surface rust on the frame, which I'm going to take care of that. So a little bit of rust right here from a tonneau cover. like, which I'm gonna bedline this. Like, I'm just so impressed with this truck. Like, how is this even possible that this truck was on the market in this crazy market that we have right now? I'm telling you, this is a God moment right here. Thank you, Lord, for providing this. I know this is a materialistic thing, but given the circumstances, I know that you have looked after me, and I appreciate it. God, thank you. And thank you all. I'm happy with this thing. It's a 2013 Silverado 2500 HD. I can't wait to continue to drive this thing. Like, I hope this thing lasts me longer than any other truck I've had, because I am happy with it. And it takes a lot for me to say that, because I'm always scared something's going to happen. But I'm happy, and I feel good about this. And I can give it all to God. Thank you.